Braves are making moves. Kylar Murray stitched with his decision. I'm Dawson Wright, joined by Noah Wright, and this is the November 26th edition of Barreled Up.
I said, ooh, yeah, I don't know. Listen, I said I was born ready. I said I was born ready. On team, living good, yeah, I don't know. I've been ready, born ready, yeah. I said I was born ready. On team, living good, yeah, I don't know. I stay steady, born ready. I said I was born ready. I said I was born.
So we decided to keep it a little bit more casual for this episode. And the Braves have been very active today, hence why I'm wearing the Braves hat. But their two moves today were signing Brian McCann and Josh Donaldson. First, we're going to talk a little bit about the McCann deal. It was for 1 year, $2 million. Noah, what do you think of the Brian McCann
trade? I thought the deal was okay. I mean, it's only 1 year, $2 million. It's not that big, so I mean, if he does struggle, you can release him and not worry too much. But he wanted to retire as a Brave, so I think that's fair.
Yeah, it was reported from Ken Rosenthal earlier that McCann had other offers for like way more money than $2 million. I think he got up to like $5 million in an offer for 1 year.
His career's winding down, so he just wants to finish it. So he might sign like another. He just might keep going with like the 1 year deals until he's ready to retire with the Braves.
Yeah, he might retire after this
Maybe.
year. Yeah, but that was not very surprising. I could see McCann going there at the start of the offseason anyway. It's clear that he liked his time in Atlanta, hence why he's returning. And I think it's a good deal for the Braves, 1 year, $2 million. They still have room to make other moves, which they also did later in the day. About 20 minutes after the Brian McCann announcement, there was another announcement where Josh Donaldson is now a Atlanta Brave for $23 million on a 1 year contract. So, Noah, what do you think of this one?
It seems like a lot to give a guy that's an aging veteran $23 million, especially after the season he had last year. He was injured for most of the year and didn't play all that great when he was healthy. He kind of heated up in the end with the Indians, but still, it was a little bit of a questionable season. But for only 1 year, it's okay, you know. $23 million might be a lot, but 1 year, it's not that bad.
I remember last episode we were talking about the 2013 Red Sox, who would just sign a bunch of veterans to 1 and 2 year deals, but they would just raise the annual value instead of going up in years. And I think this is kind of what the Braves did with Josh Donaldson. Donaldson did have a pretty decent year last year with the Indians. I know he was injured.
It was a short amount of time, but he still did decent with them.
Yeah, when he wasn't injured, he was playing pretty good. MVP season was only 2 years ago.
2015.
It's going to be 15.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was.
He did good in 2016.
Yeah,
he wasn't even bad in 2017 either. He was just injured for part of the time.
Donaldson's still really a solid player. He's really good in the clubhouse, and I really like this move. You know, a lot of people, it's worth way too much money. But the thing is, it's only a 1 year deal, and the Braves have the cap room to afford it, so it doesn't really hurt them that much. I don't think they were going to be going after a guy like Harper or Machado. That doesn't really seem like the Braves kind of thing to do.
Yeah.
But getting McCann could also be a possibility that Craig Kimbrell returns to the Atlanta Braves.
Kimbrell's best years were with Atlanta, and his main catcher there was McCann.
And Atlanta, they didn't want to trade Kimbrell when they traded him. They really liked him, but with the rebuild, they knew they had to. They really didn't have another choice other than to trade him. And if Craig Kimbrell returns, I really, really like this Braves team next year.
Yeah.
I mean, especially in the NL East. We've heard some talk of maybe Machado or Harper will go to the Mets, which that would be interesting. But it looks like the Mets are still in a win now kind of mode. But
they definitely have the starting pitching, but I don't know if they should. I don't think they should overhaul the offense just for one really good year.
Well, from what I've heard, it's the Mets are they're still trying to win now, but they think their starting pitching is good enough where if they lose a Syndergaard for a catcher and I don't know, maybe a shortstop or a third baseman, then they don't think that they'll be hurting too bad. And they think that they could still compete. And to be honest, the NL East, besides the Braves, it's pretty wide open, and still wide open for teams like the Nationals.
What about the Phillies? You got the Phillies, too, that are coming up.
I know. Well, the Phillies are coming up, and Phillies are going to be really aggressive this offseason, but unless they make a major splash, even if they do, let's say their big move this offseason, they sign Manny Machado. I don't see them there, really, with the Braves.
I think they can put a good fight up for the Braves. I still think the Braves are going to win, but I don't think it's going to be like by a landslide or anything.
Yeah,
like the NL Central or anything, or the AL Central.
No, yeah, it's not going to be an Indian situation, but I mean, the Marlins are still Marlins are there, the bottom, but the rest of the NL East is kind of in the middle. It looks like the Nationals are going to compete again, which good for them, and it's going to be a really interesting NL East this season. But right now, I'd probably give the advantage to the Braves.
Yeah, they have such a young team, and with Acuna, Albies, and now they have they added Donaldson, and they have a decent pitching staff too. And if they add another rotation anchor or something like that to that team, they're definitely gonna. I think
they could still go after a guy like Happ
or maybe. Dallas. I think they're gonna sign Dallas Keuchel.
Yeah, I could see that. I could see them outbidding the Astros for him.
Yeah.
I don't even know if the Astros are going to go after him at all. But moving on from the NL East to the AL East, the Rays designated CJ Cron, and he was picked up pretty much immediately by the Twins. So this was probably a little strange to those of you that don't know the reasoning behind it. But Noah, do you want to explain basically what happened?
So they DFA'd. Originally when they picked up Cron, they made a similar decision where they DFA'd Corey Dickerson back when that trade happened, and now it seems like they're doing it again with this year with Cron. And I think it's a bit of a questionable. Questionable move. I know he's not the greatest player. He strikes out a handful of times, but he had an 816 OPS, 123 weighted runs created plus, and he was a solid overall player. And he was MLB trade rumors projected him to make about $5.2 million in arbitration this year. So I don't see why, even if they did offer him that through arbitration, they couldn't have traded him for something.
Yeah. Well, from what I've seen, they didn't. They looked around. They tried to trade him to get something in return, but they didn't really see anything that they liked. They thought he was being undervalued, so they just decided to DFA him. And another one of the reasons that they DFA'd him, you're thinking, a guy with 30 home runs, was they were trying to get. They got 5 prospects to put on the 40-man roster, so that way they aren't eligible for the Rule 5 draft, which is basically, if you've been in the minors for this long, other teams will be able to take you if you're not on the major league. Yeah, if you're not on the 40-man roster. So the Rays were just looking for guys to, I don't know, try and get rid of, to try and clear up room on the 40-man roster. Cron fell, and him and the Twins should be interesting. I think he's gonna be a really good player for the Twins.
Yeah, he can fill in now for first base where Mauer is leaving. Yeah, now with Mauer retiring.
Yeah, 30 home runs. I think he's gonna be good for the Twins, who I guess are trying to compete because there's been some talk about Paul Goldschmidt also going to the Twins, which would be strange. Yeah, it'd be strange, but the AL Central is the AL Central, and there's a lot of room in there for winning teams. So, yeah, that should be a little interesting. And moving on to Paul Goldschmidt's teammate, who's been on the trade block. Zack Greinke has been on the trade block for pretty much this entire offseason.
Yeah.
Diamondbacks are rebuilding. We're pretty sure. It looks like Corbin's going to probably sign somewhere else. Robbie Ray could be on the move as well, along with Goldschmidt and Greinke. But Noah, do you think there is a team out there willing to take Greinke's contract for his abilities?
He's a really good pitcher. I mean, he had I think a 3.20 ERA the last 2 years combined.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's really good, but he's getting paid $34 million this year and then $35 million for the last 2 years of the contract. That's a lot for a pitcher that's getting up there in his late 30s, entering his his early 40s. So, I mean, his production is good right now, but who's to say that's not to drop off? If anyone makes a trade for Greinke, the Diamondbacks are definitely going to have to throw in some cash, or the Diamondbacks are have to receive some not so great contract.
Mm-hmm. And obviously, you have injuries can be a pretty big concern considering Greinke's injury past, but I think that there has to be some team out there, but they're not going to take the entire thing.
Yeah.
Like, the Astros have been talked about, especially if they lose Keuchel. They're probably going to lose Morton as well.
And then they have other pieces being lost next year.
Yeah, and we don't know if guys like Josh James or Rogelio Armenteros will be able to fill those spots, and the Astros don't know that either. So, we could see possibly Zack Greinke to the Astros, maybe Zack Greinke to the Yankees. I've heard Dodgers are interested in him as well, which that'd be kind of weird. But he has drawn interest, but I think the thing is, how much are the Diamondbacks willing to take on? I mean, they're going to be rebuilding, so I'm pretty sure they have a little bit of room to take.
Yeah,
I don't know, maybe like $10 million off.
Yeah,
but the contract is still bad. $34 million in 2019, $35 million in 2020 and 21. He's 35.
It's not good.
Yeah. I mean, Greinke's still really good.
Yeah,
I mean,
he's still a good pitcher, but I mean, that's a lot of money for. I mean, 3.20 ERA isn't bad at all. That's really good, but still, that's not $35 million worth of production, and then you have to consider his age. I don't think it's worth. I don't think it's worth it at all.
Yeah, something that I could see happen within this year is he doesn't get traded this offseason. They just aren't able to work out a deal. But then you'll have a team like the Astros saying, like, oh, this is like, one of our last years with, all this, with the core that we have, being as good as they are, and going for it, making like a Verlander type trade and getting Greinke.
Yeah.
Which I think that would be completely possible. The Yankees, I don't think, want to take on that kind of annual value at the moment. Yeah, they'd especially have to wait until Harper and Machado sign. If Harper and Machado don't sign with the Yankees, or Harper or Machado, then maybe there's a chance there. Dodgers were interesting, but like we mentioned last week, the owners told them to try and stay under
the luxury tax.
The luxury tax for the next 4 seasons, and paying a pitcher $35 million. That gets really hard.
Yeah,
especially with some of the other contracts they have, and they want to sign with some of their players in the future. So
yeah,
I think right now the best fit would be the Astros, whether it's during this offseason or during the regular season, like right near the trade deadline.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, it should be pretty interesting to see. If you had to guess right now where you think he would go, if he had to be traded this offseason, where do you think he would go?
Astros. Well, they've been in the rumors too. So, I mean, I think definitely, regardless of who takes him, Diamondbacks are going to eat some money. So, They said, and like you said, Astros, their door for competing is starting to close. They're already losing Keuchel, maybe even Morton this offseason. Verlander and Cole are free agents next year, so they got to do something. So they got to make some win now moves.
Yeah. I'd probably say Astros as well, and they have the farm system to do it. And the more money the Diamondbacks eat, the more prospects they'll probably get in return.
Yeah.
And the Astros have a really deep farm system, which would be really good for the Diamondbacks. But we are going to be taking a quick break, and then we are going to be discussing Robinson Cano in some trade thoughts and Kyler Murray's decision. Robinson Cano and the Mariners have been in some trade talks recently. It seems that the Mariners are trying to get rid of him. There was talks of Robinson Cano for Ellsbury straight up contract swap, which that'd be
Strange.
a little weird having Cano back in pinstripes, but I don't really know how the Mariners are going to try and get rid of Cano's contract.
Yeah,
I don't think
it's going to be a lot like the Greinke situation.
Yeah. I think it's worse than the Greinke situation.
Why do you say that? Just with the amount of money?
Yeah. Well, that he just came off the 80-game suspension.
Yeah, that's going to impact team's decision to make a trade probably.
He has a few more years. It looks like he's only going to really be effective at first or third.
He played
now.
some second base, and he didn't do bad there. He played second base most of the time this year. He didn't do bad, but still, he's likely going to be moved to a corner position and then DH most of the time. Play a little bit of second base here and there, but mainly be corner and DH.
Corner positions are some of the most stacked positions in the league, so I mean, I don't really see any suitors for a Cano trade, like, at all.
Really?
Like, I don't... Yeah. Can you name one?
I mean, the Yankees are probably the only one, but that's a lot of money they're going to have to take on, and I don't know if
I don't know why they would need him.
I mean,
Where
they
would
do
put him?
with Didi out right now. They need a middle infielder. You get Cano, you put him at second base, shift Torres over to shortstop for now, and then when Didi comes back, you put Didi at short, you move Torres back to second base, and Cano to first base.
I mean, I don't really think that.
I don't think so. I don't think so either. That it'd be too complicated. I think there'd be a lot of other
Couldn't they
questions.
just go out and just go get Brian Dozier for a year?
Yeah,
as they wait for Didi to come
Brian
back,
Dozier or like Daniel Murphy or somebody,
or trade for somebody if they really wanted someone better.
They only need a
Murphy or
1 year
Brian Dozier.
solution, but like if they only need a 1 year solution right now,
Yeah.
Cano has multiple years left on his contract.
I know, but there's no need to fill a short-term position with a long-term contract.
Yeah,
especially
since he
a
has
long-term
how many years?
overpaid
When's he a
contract.
free agent? 2034, 2030. Not 2024, 2020.
No, yeah, 30.
Oh, I meant to say. I said to meant 24.
Yeah, his was a 10-year deal in 2013.
Oh,
I'm pretty sure.
So 2023, 2024.
Yeah. Around there ish.
Yeah.
It doesn't really make that much of a difference. He's probably going to be putting up the same, probably not that good production anyway. But yeah, I have no idea where he's going to go.
Yeah.
Other than the Yankees, but I think that they're smarter than this. That the Yankees are smarter than just to take this on. I mean, hey, they took the Stanton contract, so
yeah,
you never know. You never know.
They took on the Stanton contract, and they're not ruled out Machado either. So,
man, but yeah,
and that'd be really bad if they took on like another Stanton-sized contract and then some.
Yeah, Cano's making $24 million a year. That's
a lot.
It's too much. I know some people are gonna say like, "Oh, it's the Yankees." They have a money factory.
There's a luxury tax for a reason.
there's the luxury tax, and guess what? Teams don't like the luxury tax. It doesn't matter how much money they have, right?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, all of everyone that pays taxes, that we still don't like paying taxes, right? But the more money you make, the more taxes you get. So, they wouldn't like this at all. It doesn't make sense. It's not a fit. I can only see Cano maybe going to. Mariners are going to have to eat some of the contracts.
Wherever it is, they're going to have to eat.
I don't think they'd be able to just straight up contract somebody. Even like a Jason Hayward. Like Jason Hayward for Cano straight up. I don't think that would work really. But Mariners are going to have to eat some of the contracts unless they trade him to a rebuilding team because they think Robinson Cano is a good veteran to have in the clubhouse or something, and then he gets traded to like the Royals. He gets traded to like the Royals or like the Rangers or something. But even then, those teams, if you're in the middle of a rebuild or you're getting close to being good, it would have made sense for them.
Yeah. Also, with his it wasn't necessarily PEDs he took. He took something else, but they were suspicious of PEDs, right?
I don't think he took like regular steroids, but he took something else he knows he shouldn't have taken.
And MLB got suspicious of it.
Yeah. Well, he got caught with something, and then
it was some sort of medicine, and MLB got suspicious of it because apparently you can mask PEDs. So
yeah, because they were like, no, you're suspended, 80 games, right? So, I mean. Yeah, I don't see him as a fit anywhere.
Not right now.
Mariners took that on back in 2013-ish, whenever it was. But they knew. They had to know what was going to happen.
Yeah.
I mean, it just seems like every contract is going to end up like this. I feel like in 5 years, unless Harper has like a no-trade clause, we're going to be talking about like the same thing with Bryce Harper.
Yeah,
or like
I don't know. Maybe not Trout.
Maybe not 5.
Trout
maybe
might be one of the only
exceptions.
Well,
we'll see.
Might be. I mean, I don't know.
From what we've seen from Trout so far is just consistency like crazy. I hope him and no other players end up like this, where they're in a situation like this. They sign a long-term deal. They were a star player. You hate seeing it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, unless if it was Manny Machado, that'd be pretty funny. But I mean, you don't like to see it with players, but it's just something that happens, and that's why you'll probably see Bryce Harper with a no trade clause wherever he ends up signing. He'll probably want to make it long term, maybe have a kid or something. But yeah, there's no fit. Contract ended up terrible because, of course, it did. If you didn't see this coming back in 2013, then I don't know. I mean, Cano didn't even do that bad, to be honest with you.
This year?
Yeah.
No, he didn't do that bad. He's overall good production, but I mean, it's so much money for a player that's getting up in age, and it's not crazy production. He's being paid $24 million. He's getting paid upwards of $24 million to be a decent but not fantastic player, but he's getting paid fantastic player money.
Yeah, so it's just you can find better value. You can find similar value for $10 million less.
Yeah,
easily. You could get Daniel Murphy for like $10 million less than this year,
and you'd probably get similar production offensively.
Yep,
defensively maybe not, but still, I mean, it's very similar offense probably.
Yeah. So, yeah, Cano. Good luck with that, Mariners. Hey, you took that on. That's your problem now. But going into our last story of the day, Kyler Murray, who is the quarterback at Oklahoma. He is the front runner for the Heisman. And, a lot of people are telling him, oh, you should play football. Obviously, if he's going to get up there with getting close to the Heisman, if he doesn't win it, I'd be surprised. But, Kyler Murray, he did announce. Well, he didn't really announce. It was during an interview, but he said that giving up football was the plan, and it is the plan.
Isn't he going? Isn't he signing with the A's? Didn't he get drafted by the A's?
He got drafted by the A's. He signed with the A's. This is his last season at Oklahoma, but he's not going to play Oklahoma for baseball. He's not going to play baseball with Oklahoma in the spring because he is going to be headed to spring training with the A's.
I would like him if he still played football too, so we could have another like Bo Jackson or Deion Sanders.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that'd be cool, but
it would be cool.
Can you imagine if he played quarterback too? If he played quarterback and still played professional baseball.
Where's his? I don't really follow like too much of the college football, but where's his main position for baseball?
I believe he is a. Isn't he an infielder?
I'm not sure.
I believe he is a. He's either an infielder or I think he's like a middle infielder.
All right.
I'm pretty sure. Oh, no, he plays center field.
Okay.
Center field. Yeah, he played center field in college last year. I mean, he could probably move around. He's such a good athlete. It's crazy. But I would say, there are a lot of people second guessing his choice. But to be honest, baseball is the safer bet. He signed, I think he had like a $4 million signing bonus with the A's.
Yeah, he's already making $4 million, and he hasn't even played a single game of minor league ball yet.
Yeah, so the thing is with baseball versus football, trying to decide is one, baseball players get paid a lot more,
but football players they make an immediate impact on the big team.
I mean. Right? Yeah, I guess.
Because like with the minors, you get
you would go to
4 years or so in the minors, and then eventually, if you're a prospect,
yeah. Well, if you're a quarterback, you don't always start like Baker Mayfield this year. He didn't start off as the starting quarterback.
No, he did start with
right
the
away.
Team, right?
Yes,
like even backup.
But, yeah. In baseball, you do have to go through the minors, but you make more money.
Yeah,
and it's safer.
Yeah, you see contracts you see extension contracts given to baseball players who aren't even like in the majors. Like we saw that earlier this last off season with the Phillies and Scott Kingery, and then we saw that years ago with John Singleton and the Astros.
Yeah. Oh gosh.
Yeah. Let's see. And he's gonna make I think it was like $15 million, even though he like never did anything in the major leagues. So yeah, it's a safer bet.
Yeah, it's just quarterbacks get hit all the time. Concussions are still an issue in the NFL. It's getting better than it was. They're doing more to protect the players than they have in the past. But, I mean, I just think... I don't really think he would make this off a decision of, baseball's safer just by that or just for the money.
Yeah.
He probably just likes baseball more, which, good for him. Yeah. I do too. It's good. It's a good sport. But, I think good for Kyler Murray. And I hope he ends up in the majors with the A's and just, doesn't have any regrets on his decision. Playing both would be pretty much impossible, almost. Like, that would be insane.
Think of if he did play football too, how much promoting and stuff there could have been for that.
Oh my gosh!
You could have teams, you could have games where Ohtani and Murray would play in the same game.
Oh my god!
Think of how much promotion you could get out of that.
Oh my god!
You get you get Bo Jackson 2.0 versus the new Babe Ruth. You could promote it like that.
Two-way star versus the two-way athlete. Oh man, that'd be. That would actually be a lot of fun. But with playing quarterback, that'd probably have to be his main focus. But, good for Kyler Murray. And that will wrap up today's show. We hope you enjoyed this edition of Barreled Up. Be sure to check out some of Noah's articles. The link will be in the description. Go read all of them. Check out the shop. You can cop some of this merch and plenty of other options in the store. And thank you all for watching. We'll see you in the next episode.
Listen,